Hi, everybody. It's Kristen Dallas here with Conscious Collaboration Cafe. I'm so excited to be here today. It's a special edition, and we have a very special guest today. But first, I just wanted to say the Conscious Collaboration Cafe, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a few minutes, but it came to me a few weeks ago, this idea of putting together this show to bring together different change makers and healers, mentors, coaches that are making a difference in the world and really helping bring about the consciousness shift in the world. So this idea came to me after participating in a program that we're going to talk about in a minute with my coach and mentor, Joy Kingsborough. And she is our special guest today. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to bring Joy on. This is my first time doing this, but here we go. Let's see. Here she is. Hey, Joy.
Hello.
It's wonderful to see you too. I'm really excited to have this conversation about what conscious collaboration is. And you know, I wanted to share with everyone how much being in your partnership program has just completely transformed me in just the 5 weeks I've been participating in it, and really changing the way that I think about business and marketing and sales, and just really the idea of not needing to compete with other people, that there's plenty of business, that there's an abundance of business for all of us, and that the whole idea of competition is kind of like all 3D, and we're moving into this new 5D consciousness. And so I'd love to hear you share about that, because you were the one who kind of brought this whole idea to my awareness, and it's really made a huge difference with me, and I think so many of the other partners in the program. So
well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to have this conversation. Collaboration is something that we've only seen through the lens of competition in the past. So I think it's hard for us to really understand how we can shift and change it. And one of the things that's happened with our partner program is we've had an opportunity to really lean into what structures in the old model aren't working anymore, what parts of competition really don't need to show up, and that we can create ways of partnering that serve everyone involved, that actually serve both partners, that aren't a negotiation. I'll give you this and you give me that. They're truly coming together for a common goal, right? A common goal and a common idea. And I think that we've spoken that we want that in the past, but we don't have a lot of examples of that really occurring. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one thing I noticed in my practice of this partnership program, and really trying to create partnerships with people who haven't heard this concept yet, it's really fascinating to me. Like, I experience this so much on LinkedIn, which if you go on LinkedIn, anybody who's listening, like you get marketed to all the time, but in your inbox. And people just have these, pre-designed messages that they send you, and even their responses are pre-designed. So, I don't know, they might even use social media people to answer their messages and stuff, and it's so awful. Like, you try and connect with people, and they just won't give you an authentic response or even take the time to talk to you. And I'm like, how do you get business that way? It's just mind-blowing. Like, is that really working for you? Because I don't see how that can work.
I don't think so. I think every once in a while they get someone who responds to that in some way. There's all these energetics that happen, but that's a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. And so they might get responses from people who just really are in so much pain that they want a response, they want a change, and they're willing to connect with that. But for the most part, that type of marketing is it's so exhausting. It doesn't work. It becomes a numbers game, not a human game, and so it takes humans out of the equation equation completely. And that's not serving us moving forward. As we're moving forward, this is about connecting human to human. What do we need as human beings to live a better experience and have a better life? If people around us are a means to an end, then so are we. We really have no value if we don't see value in others. So inherently, that type of marketing is really flawed from that perspective, in my opinion.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. I mean, you can feel it just in the whole interaction. And it's just, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And I think more so now than ever, because, the way people are shifting in their consciousness state, it just doesn't feel right anymore. And people are starting to feel more and lean more into their feelings. And I know for me, that's a new thing. I always avoided feeling, and that's what I was taught, and I was taught that the feelings I had were valid. So, of course you shut them down, and now, we can't help but feel more, whether you want to or not, it's happening. And a lot of people are being thrown off by this in their personal lives and in the workplace and how they do business. And I really see that, the people who are really going to thrive in this new environment are the ones that are willing to really connect, really feel their feelings and all of that. What do you do to help people? I mean, I know what you do, but can you tell the others? Because I've experienced it. But can you tell everyone listening, what you do to help people really tap into that? And because you really helped me do that, and I'm still growing in that process. But it's been a huge transformation for me to be able to do that and really step into my authenticity more and more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, you really hit it when you said, I shut myself off from feeling my body. That's the number one. We can't really tap into our brilliance, our gifts in this world, our genius, all of these amazing things we came to share with the world. We cannot tap into them if we're not fully in our bodies. Right? So if we're not fully human, we can't do it. So we need to learn to feel, but need to learn to feel not from the place of, I need to be emotional and crying all the time and be in the space. Like, yes, that happens. But really, it's about learning to get the messages of the body. And that's where I really love to start, is being in the place of, how do we listen to what the body is saying, listen to what the emotions are saying? And so, being in that space of being able to interpret it. I think that's the biggest thing, is oftentimes people feel an emotion and they think that's them. They think that that something's wrong with them if they have a negative emotion, that experience. They identify with emotion. And so interrupting that and realizing that we have emotions that we can use, and we have feedback that we can use, feedback in the body as well as feedback in the world around us. And when we learn to do that, we learn to speak with life. And that's where I start with everyone, is can you hear the feedback? And then from there, what do you do with the feedback? How do you interpret it? And there are ways of interpreting that feedback that are life affirming and not abusive. And I think most people are really in a place where there's many people that are in a place of really taking the feedback from life and abusing themselves with it. Right?
Right. Yeah, I never did that.
Yeah, hardly never ever.
Hardly ever. And I'm sure, our listeners can relate to that as well. So absolutely. So talk a little bit about your new program, Mind Shift, because, this is part of what the partnership program was all about, that I was helping to support you in your launch of your program, Mind Shift, and I can't wait. It's starting next week, and I registered for it, and I'm all excited, and I know that, everything I've done with you has just totally taken me so much further than I can imagine. And just to backstep a bit, I did not want to do this partnership program. I so didn't want to do it. And I know that there were, other people who had similar reactions to it. I've done sales and marketing and, multi-level marketing and all that kind of stuff. And I just, the old way of doing business just felt so gross. It just felt so icky, and so like I didn't want to do this program. And I did it anyway. It took me a few weeks longer than others to jump in, but I did it. And I'm so glad I did, because the brilliance of it, just inviting us to participate in this, I have broken through so many of my old ideologies, my old, patterns of thinking about business and people and competition and, all of this crap that I had been holding on to from past experiences has just like been coming up and releasing like crazy, like so fast, I can barely even process it, but it's all good. And so, I know that, and I took a program with you last year called Sacred Self. And, I didn't even really know what I was signing up for. I just knew that we were done working one-on-one, and I wasn't ready to, not work with you. So I just was like, I'll just sign up for this. And I had no idea what I was getting into. But, man, if I hadn't done that, the whole pandemic thing would have been so much more difficult to navigate. That program, and I really can't explain how, except it really helped me tap into my vibration and help raise my vibration, which kind of helped me kind of float above all of the crazy most of the time. Not that I didn't dip into it at all, but I was able to get out of it so quickly compared to what I was seeing with other people. And just even the moments when I went into the fear, being able to pop out of it and stuff. I mean, this huge stuff that has been so transformational. I hate to use that word because it's so overused, but it really is. And that, I don't really have another word to describe it, except I've really been able to apply what you've been teaching me as you're teaching me. And so I know with mind shifts, I can't even imagine what's going to happen in my life, and the money just showing up. And, I haven't really earned a traditional dollars per hours income in several years. And yet I have all this money coming in because I'm just in the flow so much more than I have been ever in my life. So,
yeah.
So tell me, what is Mind Shift going to do for me and everyone else?
Yeah, well, you've done incredible because you've been willing to face all of those things and do the work, right? It's, nothing that we do in the world is the magic pill for anyone, but it does create space for massive shifting. And in the partner program, it was sort of a kind of coming into the mind shift already. So those of you who came in and helped support that, the reason it felt so important to me that you do that was, if I was looking for the money and the dollars, I would have hired a sales team, right? People who really loved sales. But I invited in my clients, and I invited in my clients who are healers and teachers who have beautiful work to share in the world, because one of the main challenges that healers, teachers, those of service at any kind of healing capacity, whether it's through food or through the body or through emotions, there's a big gap in their willingness to really receive wealth through that pathway. And so because of that, that's the place that I really wanted to start. Was I want people to be able to see that they're capable of anything. And so we started to make a shift where we were working with the laws and the law of circulation to help you see that you can generate wealth through you, and that sales really is an invitation. And it's an invitation to mind shift, and that you love the work that I do because you've loved who you've become in the process. And so why wouldn't we talk about that? Why wouldn't we share that with others? Why wouldn't we bring that to the world? And mind shift is going to be an opportunity to take all of these ideas and be in an incubator, sort of, so to speak, with each other, to be in a space where together I'm creating opportunity and space and conversation and bringing in higher frequencies that I tap into with my work. But we're creating a space where everyone can bloom into their greatest version of themselves that's already inside, right? I mean, the bloomed flower is already the flower. It doesn't have to get its flowerness. It just needs to let the essence of it arise. And so mind shift allows us to do that, but specifically by navigating the mind as one piece of it, to helping integrate the mind with the rest of the body so they can come together, the mind with our ideas of what energy is and space and source energy. Where do we come from? What are we? If we're not the body, what are we? And how do we live from that place? So we're navigating the mind to let go of its ego self and the need for importance and the need for competition and the need for specialness and not enoughness and all of those things, to then integrate into a body that welcomes that and welcomes all of the blessings of life, wealth, vitality, well-being, good relationships. All of these things can flow. And I'm teaching people how to not just interpret the emotion, but the vibration. So everybody's talking about raising their vibe, but how do you know what to raise it to? How do you know what vibe am I at? What channel am I on? It's like having a radio station where the dial has been erased and you just keep turning it. You don't know what channel you're on. You're just guessing. And most of humanity's just guessing at their well-being. So I want to help people not guess and know, like, this is where we are. These are what these frequencies are. So we're learning that. We're really diving in and learning those frequencies so we can use them as they were intended, to leverage them and to create an incredible experience, but then come together and shift our individual things. So together we're learning those frequencies and moving out of limit into limitation, to stop the endless search for something wrong, to be in a place where things are right, where they're good, where we're well, and then to be able to create your life the way you want it, so that we can then come together collectively and do amazing things. How's that?
Sounds great to me. You brought up something when you were talking there about, how you bring in other energies. So some of the people watching may have joined your channeling Jonah live sessions recently, which were amazing. And if you guys did miss it, direct message me. I will send you a replay for it because it is outstanding. And any of the questions that were asked, it's amazing how it just comes together and you actually hear something in someone else's question that you needed to know yourself. And you just feel it in your body. It resonates. I'm getting goosebumps right now just saying that. And I got so much out of those lives and I didn't even ask a question myself. So talk about that. Like, what is Jonah and what is the channeling? How does that work for people who might not understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's as I was learning these vibrational states for myself, it's been a journey over the years, meditating and, doing all kinds of different practices that exposed me to my higher self. And, I would do meditations and meet my spirit guide and meet, I've been on the journey for a long time. It's been 20 years or more. And at one point in the journey, I met what I thought was a guide, which I guess is the truth. But I met this energy, and I had a really powerful neural phenomena experience. Right, I basically had a visualization, and I had this experience of this being coming in, and he introduced me and said his name was Jonah, and I felt so much love and peace and bliss and nurturance. I felt like all of the love of the universe was present in that moment. There was a knowing that this was good, right? That there was no ill will here. And so over, 10, 15 years, I developed a relationship with this energy. It would come back. And it would come back over and over again, and it felt the same, and it said the same types of things. And we began a two-way conversation, which then became me being able to have two conversations, 12-way, 60-way, I could have group conversations, so I could feel the energy of everyone in a space, and the answers that Jonah would bring would be for that group. And so I would, in essence, be channeling. But I'm channeling a stream of consciousness. So over the years, I've come to understand that Jonah isn't a being, not necessarily in the way we would see it. There's no body. And Jonah is an intelligence, and that there's an intelligence that has a specific focus that wants to help humanity. And it's more than humanity, it's the world, the planet, what the solar system, what we're experiencing this time, wants to be of service to breaking through in a powerful way and to keep us from falling into fear. So that it's like a guide, a doula into the birthing process, I guess. So that energy really shows up and says, here, look this way. I know it looks scary out there, but let me help you understand the safe path is this way. Here's the cobblestone path laid for humanity so that this can be easier. And that's been the dedicated focus every single time I channel. It's never veered. There's never been any fear. There's nothing. It's always been very direct focus. And I think there's a lot of different ways to say what that is and to talk about it. And there's a lot of different ideas about what channeling is. I think the greatest thing I would love to portray is that while I have a very personal, intimate relationship with this stream of consciousness, it's available to all of us. And that's a really important thing to become aware of and embrace, that at some level your intuition is actually a capability. It's a strength, just like you can smell things. Some people have greater sense of smell than others. People have stronger sense of hearing. They can see further away. This is a sense that's developed, and it's available to all of us, and it helps us to really have a greater experience on this planet. Right? To be able to communicate at that level, to be able to tap into a frequency that loves so much and can witness everything that's happening, can be in every conversation simultaneously. To see things and hear things and feel things that we can't individually, but because of this ability, we can connect as a group and experience shifts. We can experience information, wisdom, all of these things that's available to us. Right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, and what a beautiful explanation of that. I really love that. And what came to mind was, you have these moments. You were saying that we're all able to channel, and if you've ever had a moment where you've been so in the flow and you've just been, stuff's just coming out of your mouth, and you're like, where's this coming from? Like, you're channeling, and I've had those moments, and I'm like, dang, I wish I had recorded that, because you never know quite when it's going to happen. Well, I think you do now, because you're able to consciously, deliberately connect with that, right? And I haven't quite learned how to do that yet. It just happens when it happens, and it's usually if I'm talking to a client or someone I'm mentoring or something, then it'll just start coming through, and I'm just like, I wish I had that recorded. That was so good.
Yeah. It's a frequency, right? So you're tuning your dial to a particular space where you're showing up with love and presence for your client, and so the channel can come through. And it's funny because people, if they haven't heard this term, or they don't know what it is, or they see it happen and it feels like magic, it's no different than how we channel from our minds. There's a field of consciousness, and thoughts are not inside your head. They're a consciousness that's right here, and that's as expanded as most humans are. They're expanded enough to tap into this field, and you're channeling thoughts from that field. And so when people are in ego, they're actually channeling ego. They're channeling a created personality around ego. And then that energy comes through, and we're just expanding our capability, but knowing how to tune the dial to it. And that's why understanding the body is that's why we start there. Because if you don't know how to hear for it, because there's going to be no label. You don't get like a picture that says, oh, you've made it. You're at 428 hertz. You're at, you don't get any of that. So, but you can feel it in your being. You can feel the tuning, and you can feel, and it's very different. There is a place that my body just has a muscle memory to. So I just go to that place, and instantly Jonah's there. And I've come to a place where I'm comfortable with being in that state most of the time. So I don't leave it as much as I used to. I just sort of stay there, because I've found a way to be there and conscious and cognitive while also making space for that frequency. So it's something I just learned to fine tune to, which is an indication that anybody can do that. It's just a skill.
Right. Yeah. And it's so exciting when you start being able to tap into that, just from my personal experience, and just noticing, oh wow, what just came through there? That's so cool. And I'm looking forward to being able to really fine tune that skill so I can really use that to help my clients, more on demand. So, yeah. And talking about my clients, I'm a holistic health coach and healer, and I help people who are chronically ill help restore their health, and particularly those that feel like they have a purpose in the world. They're anxious to get into it, to jump into it, to be authentic, to live their life, but they're saddled with this chronic illness. And I know for me, when I came to you, I was still exhibiting quite a few symptoms, and I had pretty severe PTSD at the time and everything. And I wanted to tell people, like, this work that I did with you and I continue to do with you continues to help in my healing process, and really bringing the body into alignment with the soul and the authentic self. And I do a lot of work with food and herbs and things like that, which I believe help open people up to be able to really jump into this type of spirituality side of the healing process. But can you talk a little bit about how that works, and what mind shift's going to do for that, for anyone who might be facing those types of issues? Because it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for everyone.
Right. Well, we're all being subjected to external influences right now. And there are a lot of people experiencing what you're talking about, PTSD, and that's going to continue. There are people experiencing things right now that are causing future bouts of PTSD. There's a lot happening, and the body is constantly responding to the level of vibration that we're in. The body is constantly adhering to our mental patterns. And so not knowing what those mental patterns are creates havoc and chaos in the body. And as a result, when you're working with clients, the level of your own chaos is going to be a part of your ability to be with them. So if you've got a lot of chaos happening in your body and you can't really interpret the chaos that they're navigating, then you can still, of course, be of service and of support. There's no, there's no judgment on that. Wherever we are, we're helping someone, but we can't quite get to the level of breakthrough that's possible if we're not reaching for what's next. And I think as a healer, we've cleared a lot of things, right? As a healer or a coach, you've cleared a lot of things. But the final leap, so to speak, to being in a limitless life, of really being there, hasn't happened for most teachers and healers and mentors and guides. It just hasn't happened. There's still that I'm dealing with my own limit, so I'm navigating that. So that leap hasn't quite occurred at a collective level. It's happened in some people, they've let go of that. So mind shift will help really specifically for anyone who's ready to let go of the old pattern, the old life, the old feeling of sickness and breakdown in the body. If you're willing to really leave that behind, to let go and to release yourself into a more limitless experience where you understand how you're directing your body and having a two-way conversation with your body, not to it. And your body not to you, but with you. When you can come into that integrated state, you do tap into it. It's a sweet spot for your body experience, just like we were talking about a sweet spot for channeling, a sweet spot for the body that allows you to be in a channeled state, so to speak, with your body, where you're channeling vitality in a way that allows you to see into others with a level of clarity. It's like cleaning the windshield to just see from that place, right? To see from that clarity. So it's going to give that, it really will give that ultimate clarity, but it's also going to give you tools specifically to do that with your clients. So I'm going to be teaching people how I do this, how I see so clearly, even when I'm not in a channeled state, how I can see so clearly what's happening with someone so that I can show up in service for them, not for what I believe needs to happen, or, those kinds of things. I can help them raise their own vibration. So I teach a method called Q, which is just short for quantum expansion. And in quantum expansion, I'm teaching people to fine-tune their vibrational experience. And everyone who's coming into Mind Shift can do that for themselves and be able to take that out to their clients or do it for themselves and be able to always be in a state of knowing which things to do. You won't have to tap into my recordings. You won't have to be like, what one was that? And pull it out of the library. You'll just go, oh, I want to create this and this and this. You'll know how to do it, and you'll be able to do it. Right? It puts the power back in your own hands to be well, to be wealthy, to be just to claim that for yourself. Right? So I think sometimes saying this, it feels like, what specifically will happen? There are steps to this. There's a process to this. But what I'm saying to you is you're going to make a major leap. And I'm going to be the safety net in that leap. You're going to let go of your limits. And that to me is, as a healer, speaking healer to healer, there's nothing more important. There's just nothing more important. So.
Absolutely. And oh my God, I love the cue. That process is amazing. When I do it, the whole day I'm on fire. And it's just funny because, I eat very clean and I don't eat any overt fat right now and all of that. So when I do the Q, I have to eat so much more I need a lot more calories because I'm burning through so many calories. I think when I did it the other day, I ate like 3 or 4 pounds of potatoes in one day just to get it. Because you're just going because you're on fire, and it's not an adrenaline thing at all. It's weird because I had to figure that out. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm running my adrenals, but you do need more calories to consume and stuff because you do burn through a lot because you're just going. I get so much done when I do that. I make so much progress, and it's like I don't even have to think about it. I know exactly what to do next. It's totally like, I don't even want to say it's intuitive because it just happens. And at the end of the day, I have to actually force myself to go to bed because I still want to keep doing stuff. So yeah, I love that process.
Because this is really a distinction in what I'm doing in the world with that work. And it's very much like having a Wi-Fi connection that a group of people or a neighborhood is tapped into. It's weakened by the number of people who tap in, right? So you have like this one block and everybody's plugged in, and it creates a limitation. So most humans are getting their energy from that limited source. There's a limited source of food and energy from each other, and there's this kind of like siphoning of energy from each other, and it's a lesser frequency, and each person that taps in reduces it. So it's a reductionist. It's an energetics of an economics of energy, right? Where there's always lack. But what we're doing with Q is we're tapping into a limitless stream. And that limitless stream then moves, and then we become aware and we generate energy in a particular organized pattern where we're going to the source of the energy, and we're not sharing it with anyone. We're creating our own, and it's limitless because anyone can do it. We don't need to give it to anyone. That doesn't even make sense. Everybody can get it themselves. Everyone has a direct line in, instead of having to share. And that's why you feel that. It's like, whoa, it's like you're just going right to the source. You're the only one on this Wi-Fi connection, right? Like you're the only one. And it's amazing. And what you're talking about is very real for everyone. Like the energy, the movement, what happens in your body, you accelerate the healing for yourself and for your clients. Like I can't even say enough what it's done for my own world. It accelerated the wealth, the money, the people, the love, the connections. Like it's like I look around my life and I'm like, I am so happy. And it's not because I have the things. It's because I know if I need something, I can experience it. I don't need to have all the things. Like I actually don't need the things. So where they talk about, the Buddhas of the world talk about when you can let go of the need of things. Well, actually understanding why that's so powerful is even more powerful than doing it.
Yes. Yes.
So.
And the cool thing is, like, I don't know, I can't really say like I fully understand what's going on yet, but it still works. And that's the really cool thing for me. It's like I don't have to totally get it for it to work. I just have to be willing to be open to it. And I love that about this work, because it's, you know, it will probably take me years to get to a place where maybe I can even say I have any clue compared to what you've studied so much stuff and for so long, and you've played with this for so many years. And, you know, like, for me to get to that point, I think it's going to take me a long time, but I can still tap into it now. I don't have to know everything. And I think that's so important to let people know, because you don't have to be an expert in universal laws and quantum physics, and you will learn about that through this program for sure. But you don't have to be an expert in it to really be able to apply the things that you're learning and see big results in your life.
Yeah, because it's mostly experience. So you know how when they say to know something, you've got to like know it. You have to experience it. Most of mind shift is an experience. There's some knowledge and information, but the experience of it is the telling part. You'll know it for yourself. You may not be able to describe it, but you will know it, and you'll be able to use it, and it will change your experience completely. Right? That's the big difference. Is I'm not going to give you a bunch of things to go do, and then you're going to figure it out one day. We're going to experience it, and if you figure it out one day, that's awesome. If you figure out what it means, awesome. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Right, and you experience as you go through the program. So it's not like you have to wait till you come out at the other end 6 months, get your certification, and, you know, okay, now I know what I'm talking about. No, it's like the experience is happening. For those of us that were in your partner program, like you were saying, we already started the experience in the week.
Oh, let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's one of the things that I love is sometimes people will ask me, they'll be like, oh, well, I have to wait 6 months. It's going to take me 6 months to figure this out. And it's like, no, the reason that mind shift is 6 months is because you're going to start doing this instantly. Like, as we start doing this work, as soon as you come in, it's going to be shifting you, and you're going to be experiencing your life different, and questions are going to come up, and you're going to go through a transformation in your life. And really anchoring this in so that you don't kind of fall off path, I guess that's the easiest way to say it, is the reason for the 6 months, is to fine tune it and to get a deeper experience with it. It's like learning to ride a bike. The first time is good, but you've got to ride your bike a few times to really be great at it. And so at the end of 6 months, you'll be great at it, like great at it. But you're going to be good at it instantly. You're going to know how to do it instantly. And then we're going to help you be great at it. And we need that. We need that ability to really have it locked in so that we don't just have a good life sometimes when we remember. Right.
Right. That is what I'm looking forward to is the sustainability of it, right? Like, that's where I'm headed. And I know I'm ready to have that sustainability. And I've already been seeing that, you know, emerging in my experience. And I want more, because I love it, you know, I want more. So it's been great. And, you know, also just being on that ride with so many other amazing healers, teachers, coaches, and other people who really wanted to embrace life and learn what living life really is about, you know, really experiencing. I mean, even just this past couple of weeks, I had this huge epiphany, and you've tried to impress this upon me for a long time. You know, my therapist, you know, other healers I've worked with, about really being able to tap into enjoying life. And it's been a challenge for me because of my past experiences to really allow myself to have fun, enjoy things, all of that. And I had this huge shift just in the past week or so about this. And it's so cool because it's changing the way that I'm doing my own life, and it's also changing the way that I'm coaching my clients. And I'm really excited about it because I know it's going to help me bring in something that, you know, a part that was missing. And And because of that, my experiences will amplify into what I've been envisioning and not necessarily being able to pull in yet. So it's really exciting when you feel these shifts, and especially because I kept hearing you guys, I kept hearing about, yes, have fun with this, do this, make this fun, and I just couldn't get it. And then I just had the click this week, so you don't have to get why or how or whatever, but it starts happening, and it's so exciting when it does, because you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. So, and then you just start applying it, and I mean, I've been smiling so much more in the past few days, because I'm just like, okay, and things are even flowing more than ever, and it's been really exciting. So is there anything else you want to share with us today, Joy, about the work you do, or any message at all about maybe people that are still struggling with the current situation with the pandemic and the climate that's going on with politics? There's so much going on that has people so stressed out, finances and all of that. Is there a message that maybe you want to share before we, head out for the day?
Yeah, I think what feels really important, I think, for all of us at this time is that people always thrive. In every condition that we've ever experienced, human beings have thrived. They have excelled. They have broken through and done amazing things in all times. And it's not because they were, they had some secret knowledge or some edge that other people didn't have necessarily. What they had was a willingness to see what's happening in the world and to come back and say, I believe in this for me. And they believed in themselves with a strength that is undeniable. They believed in themselves. And we see this in people who, we don't always like the people who get this, but there are people who get it in our world right now who know that if they have faith in themselves, they can achieve amazing things. And really consider that for yourself today. This is one of the things that we talk about in Mind Shift. It's one of the things that is a thread through all of my work, is this belief in self is very real and only you can cultivate it. No one can give it to you. And if you get caught up in the world events, you're gonna give away your power and not understand this. But if you can notice what's happening and come back to self and say, but what do I want for my life? You can absolutely thrive. In fact, you can do better than you've ever done. And I've seen it witnessed in my clients who have generated more revenue this year than any other year. And it's not because they sold anything for COVID. They're selling coaching and all kinds of other things that you'd think would be irrelevant right now. And they are doubling and sometimes tripling their income. So you are not at the whim of the outside world. You are at the whim of your inside world. End of story. That's it.
Yes. So important for people to understand that and really, really be able to internalize that and embrace it, because that is really what can help you rise above every challenge that you could come across in life. And, it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be challenges, but that you can just experience it in a very different way. So thank you, Joyce, so much for taking the time to talk with us today. So appreciate it. And you guys, if you want to register for Mind Shift, you have until tomorrow. The deadline's tomorrow to register. I put the link below in the comments. There we go. Below in the comments. And also, if you have questions about it, feel free to DM me. I'll be happy to talk to you more about Mind Shift, and you can, hit Joy up. But we're working on this together, and we are so excited to help people shift their consciousness and really embrace this idea that Joy just said, where you can really rise above every challenge that you face in life if you know how to do it, if you know how to tap into the universal flow. So thank you so much, Joy. And tomorrow, stay tuned, because at 12 o'clock tomorrow, same place, Facebook Live, we're going to have Megan Alton. She's going to be talking about numerology and how that can help shift your health and all areas of your life, and understanding how the mathematics of the universe really work and how that comes together. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Joy. Everybody have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.